Ooh. Hello. There's currently loads of roadworks going on outside my bedroom window and the traffic keeps backing up. I don't have a recording studio or soundproofing or even double glazed windows, so we're gonna have to just deal with this. This is musical theatre characters that are trans according to me, my opinion, my thoughts. This is not characters that are like canonically trans, but ones that I'm like, I think it would be cool if they were. Okay, number one, Moritz Stiefel from Spring Awakening. I feel so strongly about this. This is just a little boy who is confused about gender anyway. I mean, the whole point of that show anyway is that it's about a bunch of teenagers who have not been told anything about their bodies and they don't really have an education about that kind of thing. I don't know, it makes sense in my brain. I think having a trans actor play this role would be very meaningful. I know, spoiler alert, that character's story ends quite tragically, and I know we don't always want stories about trans bodies to be the kind that end in tragedy, but this is one that I just feel it in there, you know? Number two is Marty McFly. If you haven't seen that Tumblr post, it is a truth universally acknowledged. I think that a lot of trans masks really love Marty McFly, and now that he's in a musical, he can go on this list. You know, he's just a little guy. He's a short king, and, you know, it's canonical that he's a short king because there are a couple of jokes in the show that would not work if he was not a short king. He's just a little guy. He's wearing so many layers. Have you seen how many layers he's wearing? I mean, I know it's October, but this is California we're talking about. I have not been to California, but I imagine it's pretty warm, even in the middle of October. He's not doing that for weather reasons. He's wearing that ensemble for some other reason. Jennifer's also trans. They get a really cute duet in the show, and she sings a line, "I know you better than anyone." That's because they're both trans. It just makes sense. While we're on that show, Doc's also trans. One of the great mysteries of the universe is it's never explained to us how Doc and Marty first met. What experiments is he doing? HRT. Seymour Krelborn from Little Shop of Horrors. Do you see how many layers this man is wearing? It's about the haircut. It's about the terrible headgear. It's about the negative self-image. I'm not saying that's a requirement, but it happens sometimes, you know, it happens sometimes. And also Audrey. I think when MJ Rodriguez sang Suddenly Seymour, it changed my brain chemistry. I think it also changed like the whole world. This is like my most watched video on YouTube ever. It's so how meaningful this is until you see it and you're like, oh, why is this character not always played by a trans woman? It's just everything to me. To quote Jennifer Parker again, staying with Orin, even though he's, you know, quite obviously a massive jerk, to put it politely, possibly because she thinks, you know, if she's getting that attention from a man, legitimizing her feelings. It's such a beautiful choice to cast Audrey as a trans woman, and the only thing that can make that better is to have her be opposite a trans Seymour as well. I would like to see it. I would love to see it. I think that would change me forever. This video is getting emotional. JD from Heathers. JD cares little for such petty things as gender, cares so little for what the world dictates that they ought to be, that it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Remy the Ratatouille. This counts because he's now in a musical. I know that's not his real name, but this is just another, again, a little short king who's trying to live up to his expectations. He's just a little guy, and I love him, and I think he's transgender. Dewey Finn from School of Rock. Just look at this man and tell me that this isn't what peak masculinity looks like. You know, I go through phases of being like, I don't really care how I present. I kind of just sort of generally like the way I look. And then I will go through phases where I'm like, if I do not look like Jack Black / Alex Brightman as Dewey Finn in School of Rock in the next 10 seconds, I don't know what I'm going to do. He's just a beautiful man, and it just makes sense in my brain. Matilda from Matilda. This is two parents who so badly wanted a child of a certain gender, which I'm going to say something controversial here. This happens a lot in real life, and some parents get pretty freaking angry when they do a gender reveal and it's not what they thought it was. This is just a funky little girl who is just like, I don't know this score very well. What is it? Nobody but me is going to tell my story. Or change. Is it change my story? I don't know. Yeah, that's basically a trans anthem. She's like, I'm me. Get out of here. SpongeBob. No gender. Only sponge. Beetlejuice from Beetlejuice. This is like non-gender with left bug. Okay, Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice is also trans. And I'll tell you for why. There's a lot of subtext in there, I think, about idolizing her dead mum, talking about how she's her clone and her strange creation. You know, part of the reason why she misses her mum so much. Maybe not just because she was a great parent, but maybe also because she was very open and very encouraging in supporting Lydia in being the young woman that she is. And, you know, I get the feeling that her dad isn't transphobic, but maybe just like more focused on other things to really sort of put effort into making Lydia feel heard and understood. In the back of his mind, he kind of might think it's kind of a phase, like he probably thinks how the whole goth thing is a phase. Not in a bad, like, anti-trans kind of way, more in a parent and child having a barrier in the way of them properly connecting kind of way, which is quite a realistic representation. You know, all the lyrics and lines about her being seen, about saying people's names. I mean, that has big trans implications there. I just think there's something really nice and really beautiful that you could read into that. Percy Jackson from the Lightning Thief musical. He is just my perfect little boy. I love him. I think he's trans. That's all I've got to say. Sandy from Greece. This is another deep one. I think this has the potential to completely recontextualize the ending of that show. You know, some people say it's quite problematic. Some people are like, well, she can do what she likes, you know, she can dress however. I think having her played by a trans woman and that being a trans character could have quite a strong message about, you know, this young trans woman realizing that she doesn't have to conform to a specific type of feminine presentation in order to be taken seriously as a woman. Some people think, oh, that ending is just Sandy bending to the will of Danny Zuko's preferences. But you can also read it as her sort of having wanted that all along, but sort of feeling this societal pressure to be a certain way in order to be taken seriously. And I think that applies whether she is trans or cis, but I think there could be something quite interesting in this character realizing like, oh, there is no wrong way to be trans, no wrong way to be a woman. You know, she can present, you know, hyper feminine with the lovely dresses and the hair bows and the Sandra Dee, all of that, but you can also wear tight leather pants, more revealing outfits. You can dress however you want and still be trans, however she wants to dress. I don't know, I thought that was an interesting thought. Monty Navarro from A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. I just think this would be cool. Rich from Be More Chill. I want you to go home, if you're not already home, listen to the Squip song. I'm not going to quote any of the lyrics here because some of them would probably get this video flagged on YouTube, but just listen to that song and tell me that is not about Rich being trans. Dr. Frankenstein from Young Frankenstein the Musical. The song Listen to Your Heart is just about being trans. Oh, you'll find such joy just by being a boy. Hello. Again, with the Doc Brown thing, like, what experiments is he doing? Emmett from Legally Blonde. I mean, this is another case of, like, Seymour Krelbonisms. Have you seen how many layers this man is wearing? Like, this is just a disheveled young man who hasn't quite learned how to properly dress himself yet, which I think is a phase a lot of us have been through as transmasculine people. Like, he's wearing suits that are too big for him. He's got those baggy layers. It's a classic look. Troy Bolton from High School Musical. He's just a little basketball boy. I love him. Sky Masterson from Guys and Dolls. First of all, no cis man is named Sky. Second of all, his surname is Masterson. Like, what? Was the surname Man Guy not available? He likes to perpetuate this reputation that he's a womanizer and that he's like, can get all the women. But he's actually pretty not that into letting women getting close to him. For what kind of reasons? We can speculate. Christian from Moulin Rouge. I don't actually know this guy's surname. I don't know if he has one. Like, it's Moulin Rouge. Everyone in that show is just a little bit fruity, at least. Jay Pierpont Finch from How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. First of all, his name is Jay. Like, his first name is Jay. And also, he respects women way too much. That's my list. Like, so far. I want to know about you guys. What do you think? Do you have any roles that you think would be great if they were played by trans people? Have you seen any of these roles being played by trans actors? I should say out trans actors. Who knows? We may have seen them all played by trans actors, but we just don't know. And that's their decision. Did you love it? Are you a trans actor? Have you played any of these roles? Do you want to play any of these roles? If you've played them, how was that for you? I want to know. How was that experience? Did it add to it for you? I like to think that it would, but I want to know. I think it's so great these days that a lot of new musicals are including canonically trans characters, whether it's binary trans or non-binary or something else. And sometimes it's original musicals and sometimes it's adaptations of movies that they've just gone, you know what? We're going to put a transgender character in here. And I love that. But it's also important to remember that trans actors can and should also be playing cis roles. The great thing about musicals and stage shows in general is that we can revive them and remount them and rework them to be, among other things, more gender inclusive. I know personally that when I ever see a production announce a show that is A, trans inclusive and B, gender diverse, I'm basically already there. I'm outside the venue, standing in the car park. Please let me in. I would like to see it. That's it. This is my first ever YouTube video. I don't really know what I'm doing. I know the lighting is bad and you can probably hear all the traffic outside, but I've been meaning to make this video since Trans Day of Visibility and I've just gotten around to doing it. I think I want to make more videos. I have some ideas. Just depends on how long they take, etc. So maybe like and subscribe. I feel weird saying that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time, maybe. I hope there is a next time. That would be nice.